It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Welcome to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Awesome new show this week. Tons of crazy stuff going on. I'm back in the studio. Last week, I was actually out of the country at a business mastermind with top agents from across North America, from Canada, and really kind of just shared what's happening, what's working software-wise, what technology they're using, what artificial intelligence they're using, and a lot of great just insight on how to keep our clients ahead of the game. And it's been super beneficial for me over the years to invest in those. And so a lot of cool stuff bringing back for our clients. Hopefully maybe can talk about that if we have time today. But huge news in the real estate world just the past couple of days. And so major news in the mortgage world specifically, we had the biggest 48-hour rate drop in decades. And it goes back to the biggest 2-day drop in decades. Simply put, the past 48 hours, mortgage rates have moved lower by a larger amount than almost any other time in our records. And it said there's a similar time in November 2022, but the only other episode was not, basically, it wasn't quite as large. And here's the quote: said, before that, we don't have anything else remotely close to this, going back to our start of records keeping in 2007. So awesome news there. And what's happening is putting a fuel on the fire for a market that was dead stopped, it seemed like. I mean, rates were high 7s, some got across 8%. And so it was difficult out there, right? A lot of buyers were just kind of holding. And now we're seeing people jump back in. I was reading some this morning. The average homeowner is going to save $185 a month just in the drop. And we had one of our clients, a little bit higher in property, but her mortgage rate dropped over $300 a month just in that 48 hours. And so she locked up a property instantly the next day. Once she saw that, our mortgage partner has been on the phones with us and our team helping clients know and like, look. And so if you're thinking about selling too, we'll talk about today, there's a lot of buyers going to jump back in who've been on the fence. And it's a very interesting time, right? It's a time that's usually slow. You have the holidays. And so if you're thinking about buying or selling, you want to make sure you combine that to this blessing. I look at it, from above that's coming in, the rates going back down. We'll talk about where they're at today as well. We also, the micro market, last week talked about the macro market. Sales were, a little bit slow, pretty much flat year versus year, but prices were up double digits, which is very interesting, at least for the entire Grand Strand. We'll break down the micro market today on today's show, because it's interesting. Like if you look at Myrtle Beach, like the middle part of the area, sales were down last month 37%. So significant decline there. And so you're seeing it all over the beach. And so I get this question all the time, like, hey, what's my area doing? What's my neighborhood doing? And in a place that's very unique like Myrtle Beach, it's very important to be able to drill down to the micro market, which is your neighborhood, your zip code. And so we'll talk about that a little bit today. Also, our team, I have a fund that we put together with millions of dollars in it from different investors that just buys out property. We buy it out at a fair price, cash as is, close as fast or as long as you want to close. Looking to buy properties right now during this time period. Also allow people to be able to stay in there if they want a little bit longer to help match up any purchases they may be trying to do as well. Some amazing success stories. Our team's been ramping it up at a time that a lot of other agents have been just flat out running for the hills. We've been doubling down on marketing, increasing our ad spend. We haven't reduced ad spend one single dollar yet, and pushing not to, so we can capture market share. And so one thing we're doing for that, we're adding to our team. If you're a realtor out there looking to serve your clients at the highest level, if your business has been very slow, come with us. We've been doubling down, continue to grow. We're also offering a real estate scholarship for anyone that's in a different business that wants to get into real estate. I have a real estate school that we're able to help you get your license, and we give a scholarship for the right candidates as well. If you want to reach out to that, you can reach out, call us 843-808-SOLD. Also go to Sloan Scholarship realty.com. But bottom line is lots of great information to the same exact thing we're doing here for the past 14 plus years in the show. And it's just to keep you updated on, for most people, their largest assets. My goal is to just serve the community, keep you updated on what's happening with values, with sales. So you can, one, have better conversations with friends during the holidays, but two, you can be in the know about what's happening with your properties and your investments. So you can obviously help make the best decisions going forward. If you ever want to come back and listen to these shows, we stream them online. We also have podcasts to put it into, but you can usually just go to YouTube, type in Blake Sloan Radio Show. Follow me on Facebook at Blake Sloan. You can also follow Sloan Realty Group on Facebook, LinkedIn, all that stuff. You can always come back and share that with anybody else you want to as well.
All right, a lot of stuff to get to. If you just tuned in for the very first time and you're not sure who you're listening to or to, it's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, hosted by, of course, Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan has been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, and other national publications. You may be seeing him on TV with NBC and also with Fox and Friends with Morning Show. You've heard the personal endorsements here by Sean Hannity, also Barbara Corcoran, Gary LaVox. Put them all together, it's just totally unprecedented. Now, that's one thing, but the other thing is that Blake has trademark systems for both home sellers and home buyers. They are trademarked, so we can't give you all the details, but more than happy every week to tell you the most important part of that system.
Yeah, and that's just the whole why we do the show. Is just really, I see so many horror stories, and year after year after year of doing this for almost 20 years now, and growing up in the business. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, entire family sold real estate. I've been up with my mom putting signs out when I was 2 years old, and so, but being in this business, full time for 20 plus years, I just see so many horror stories, and I see the same mistakes over and over and over and over. And it doesn't matter how affluent the people are, how many properties they sold. They still say the same exact things and still make the same exact mistakes. And I watch it cost weekly people $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And that's not an exaggeration. Literally every single day I hear a story about it, or I see a story about it through an interaction, or one of our team members interacts with someone else who is just an average agent who's not very good, who costs their client tens of thousands of dollars. Because here's what most people realize. For most people, real estate is one of their largest assets, right? So you want to make sure if you dispose of that, aka you sell it, or you're purchasing it, you want somebody who can help navigate that. And the problem with real estate, it has a long sales cycle. There's a lot has to be done, a lot of nuances in it, things that can make or break the home sale. Like when you're selling a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, it puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. If anything's handled incorrectly, aka that agent drops the ball at any point, that costs you your leverage, aka your hard-earned equity, that gets given away. And in most cases, it gets taken away by the other party in the transaction or the other agent and what they do. And so most people make this mistake. And if I could just say this, I would repeat this over and over for 30 minutes if I could, but no one would listen. But you have to make sure you understand that the biggest mistake people make is thinking that all real estate agents are the same. And it could not be any further from the truth, right? You see that when you talk to them, you see that when you look at them, you see that when you deal with them, and that's because it comes down to people. It's a service-based business, so it's just like any doctor, any lawyer, any person. You go to a restaurant, I talk about this all the time, but there's a big difference. You go to a restaurant, right, and have an amazing experience. You go to the same restaurant and have a terrible experience. It comes down to the person that you're having an interaction with. But it's the same thing here with the doctor, lawyer. If I'm charged with a crime I didn't commit, right, the last thing I want is some part-time attorney who's only tried a few cases, but he's nice and he's cheap. Right? I want the absolute best, most aggressive attorney who specializes in that type of law, who's going to give me the best competitive advantage I can so I can get the outcome that I deserve. And you should demand that same level of excellence when you're dealing with your largest asset. And so, but most people just do not put time and money in thinking about the biggest decision of your life. They don't take time to think about it, right? They'll spend 20, 30 years building their hard-earned equity, but 15 minutes picking an agent. Or they don't even have a criteria how they pick them, or they don't really understand what to do with the cheapest, or somebody who refers them. Or some people go to Facebook, right? You go to Facebook and ask for an agent, which is the absolute worst thing you can do. But the reality is, when you're selling a property, like I mentioned, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, like I said, puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. Anything's handled incorrectly, they drop the ball, it costs your money. And so what we realize is those 118 different variables are too much for one single agent to operate. When I got in the business, right, we figured that out and said, man, this is a lot of stuff for one person to do. And no wonder all these balls are getting dropped. No wonder all these clients are unhappy. No wonder that people don't like agents as a whole, because the problem is the business model is broken. I started out at a big box store, Coldwell Banker, and it was me and 200 agents. They didn't care about me. I didn't care about them. And we didn't work together in any way at all, right? And so it was me by myself, and my mom and I were a team initially. Then I was by myself, but there's no real support there to do all these things that have to be done. And so what we realized is there's got to be a better way. And I sought out and said, hey, how do we flip this business model upside down and look at what people do in real businesses outside of real estate and treat the real estate transaction the same exact way? And that's exactly what we did. I created this hybrid team model That's a brokerage that operates as a team. Everyone's in alignment. We have a team of specialists. Each person specializes in what they do, right? From inside sales to outside sales. We have listing coordinators, buyer coordinators. We have full-time graphic designers, full-time videographers, closing coordinators, all these things so that no detail gets left behind. Every single thing is managed proactively because I want to create a competitive advantage for my clients. So we designed this thing called the Guaranteed Sold System, the only proven system that sells homes twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well, right? That's exclusive to us. I designed it. We trademarked it. I do license it to some other agents, other parts of the country, but it's exclusive to us here. We've had some try to copy it, but it hasn't even come close in terms of what they do because the business model with a team of specialists is what makes the biggest difference. And we backed it up with a team of people and a massive piece of technology that we've invested lots of money in to make sure that we can manage those variables proactively. And versus the flip side, what most agents do is they just do the 3 Ps. They promise you will to get the listing, they put it into MLS, and 3, they pray that someone else brings a buyer. They get half the commission. If it sells, it takes forever. They don't really care too much about it. And here's a major problem is that the average agent on marketplace sells 4 homes a year. That's 1 per quarter. There's not a whole lot of knowledge there to really know the nuances and the pace of the market, what's happening. But more importantly, there's not a whole lot of money to eat with as an agent if you're selling 4 a year. So much less spend any money in marketing to get the property differentiated so that you can have more buyers. And so that's what people need to understand, like understand the nuances of the business, what happens. And that's what we do with our clients in a consultation. We sit down and show them, and it absolutely blows their mind. So on the flip side, there's 100 plus variables when you buy a property. We designed a system called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. You property access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as a home inspection to do that same exact thing, which is to get you a competitive advantage in the marketplace. So if you know more how that works, reach out, call me. It's the main point of the whole show is to help people understand all agents are not even close to being the same. And you owe it to yourself to at least investigate, understand the nuances and how things work so that you can have the absolute best chance to get the most amount of money for your home when you sell it. So quick break, right back here in a second.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, the real estate market is constantly changing. Now, here to give us more insight into this is my friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. And I know certain programs make it a lot easier for the seller. Which ones do you offer?
Hey, Sean. In addition to our traditional program that sells your home for top dollar, we have an instant offer, a multi-offer, and a guaranteed offer program. I represent a large investment fund with millions of dollars who are looking to buy homes in the Grand Strand right now.
And what kind of return can you expect from them?
Here's what I'll say. Every seller's needs are different. Some need maximum convenience, and we deliver that every single time. Some need the most amount of money, and we have a program for that as well. We have a trademark program that nets sellers up to 5 to 10% more money than traditional industry methods.
All right, great insight, and thank you for this update. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD, or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com, and consider your home sold.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corbett. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sales, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers in a time crunch, you can agree to sell it by a certain date, take cash for your home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time,
Use our proven marketing plan to sell it for the highest price.
work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Brand new market update. All kind of stuff going on. We talked about the big news, interest rates. We'll talk about that in a second. We're already seeing an impact of that quickly just in the last couple hours, really a couple days overall. And so like here's 2 parts we talk about number-wise. We talk about the rearview mirror numbers. That's what everyone talks about. That's what the news puts out. That's what we've done on the show for years and years. But really during COVID, we started saying, like, how do we tell real time what's happening? How do we keep a pace of the market so we can know deeper real time what's happening so we can help our clients make better decisions. And so we track those are the front windshield numbers. And what those actually are, those are how many properties go under contract in the previous 7-day period. We've been doing that long enough. I have a giant spreadsheet that tracks it every single day. Our team goes over every morning in our morning huddle. And it's important to understand because I can see real time what's happening. And so like right now in the last 7 days, there's been 378 properties went under contract for $166,242,087. So $166 million under contract in the last 7 days, which is pretty good, right? Anytime we're close to $200 million or above, the market's rocking and rolling. It was down just in last week's show. It was at 323. for 133 million, and that was a 15% drop over the previous week. And that's when rates had gotten high in the high sevens. It crossed 8 a little bit, and then back down to the high sevens. And so that's something that we saw that really put the brakes in the marketplace. And so now that rates are going back down, you're seeing buyers jump back in, which means if I'm a seller, I want to be a little more aggressive. I can get back on the market. If I'm thinking about selling, I want to sell right now and rates go back down, because right now there's so much of a backflow or a backup of buyers who want to buy, but they can't because rates are too high. They either can't afford it or it's just above the pain threshold of what they're willing to pay for it. And so as rates go down, you see a flurry of buyers. We can literally watch our traffic online go up tremendously from both buyers that we have on our website and new buyers through online traffic based on what's happening because they're watching rates, right? That's what's dictating the decision they make and how they move forward or not in that scenario. And so just in the last 7 days, there have been 17 properties over $1 million under contract. We actually had a couple of those on our buyer team as well, which is awesome. We had 89 properties over 500,000, which is awesome in that scenario. We're seeing a lot of mid to high end stuff go as well. And there's 983 properties that are active right now on the marketplace. If you look back just a couple weeks ago, there's 1,021 properties. And so as rates have gone back down, inventory has gone back down a little bit because more buyers have jumped back in. And so that's great news so far going forward. I do think we're going to see that jump up tremendously the next week, even though it's getting close to Christmas and amongst the holidays. And so that's great news for the marketplace over here. So it's a very unique time that this is coming right now. And you're going to see a spike, a flurry of sales. And so if you've been thinking about selling, it's still a great time to at least get that ball rolling, to get some initial interest on it. And I'll talk about too in a minute why it's still a pretty good idea if you're thinking about it. Going back to last year, though, when it peaked out really at 590 properties under contract for 220 million in 1 7-day period. And we were seeing multiple properties, 5 properties over 2 million, 19 properties over 1 million. So that was rock and roll, and rates weren't too high. It was before it ever got to the sevens. And so hopefully we'll get back there soon. But we do have a short window, which is very nice. We're seeing a lot of buyers jump back in. So if you're listening, if you're thinking about refinancing, about buying, if you want to take a new look at that, we've had a lot of buyers who have been able to get a new pre-approval for more money. And we've noticed a lot of buyers are also seeing their mortgage payment has dropped significantly as they get an updated pre-approval with new rates. And so if you want to know more how it works, if you want to know more information about that, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction. Looking at the MLS numbers from last month, we touched them last week's show. The market was pretty flat last month overall, which is surprising. Sales are only down 1.3% from the same month last year. So that's November versus November. If you look at sales price, this is a big shocker to me overall. If you look at sales price, it was up over 16%. Average sale price up 16.6% at $518,812. Median price up 5.2% at $380,000. Even, which is interesting, it's kind of remained flat really the past couple of months. It's bounced around. So, for example, in June, it was 383. Then it dropped down a couple months. In the last 2 months, it jumped back up a little bit. And that's really kind of done so as inventories remain low because what's happening is low inventory is protecting price because a lot of home sellers want to sell, but they're locked in at low interest rates, so they haven't been moving, which keeps the amount of supply very, very low. And so that's very, very interesting there. Right now, the months of supply is very low at 3.4 months. We're still in a super seller's market, meaning if you're a seller, you're in the advantage in terms of how that works overall, which is great. We talked about showings per listing before. That's down significantly. The average listing right now on the MLS is getting 3.6 showings overall. The problem with that is it's taking right now on average 13.7 showings to get an actual offer. So the problem is they're 10 showings short in many cases, and that's why the agent you choose matters so much. The nuances of how they advertise, the quality of their photos. There's an actual study that I've done personally on the order of the photos. I found a way to increase buyer traffic based on the order of the photos because I learned how buyers search. And so you want to have a certain strategy in which pictures you put 2, 3, and 4, because pictures 2, 3, and 4 have to sell the buyer online on their phone, their tablet, their computer to look at the rest of the photos. And then what I realized is that the next goal for me as a marketer is to just have that buyer click the button to show the property through their agent, whoever that may be. And we've been able to really master that. And those are the small gaps we help create for our client. And that's how properties sell faster and for more money by doing so. And so very, very interesting numbers here. I want to jump into the micro market numbers really quick. Bear with me as I run through it. It's really the most feedback I get on these, but it's the most difficult one to do on radio, to fly through it. But Myrtle Beach sales in November, the 29577, 29572 area code or zip code, it was down 37.8% November versus November, which is where I expected it to be overall. Median sales price, good news, is up 11% from 493 up to 547, which is great news. Year to date, our Myrtle Beach sales are down 14.3%, but price is still up 9.7% from 455 to 499, which is great. Condo sales in Myrtle Beach area down 23% overall. Last month in November, prices almost identically flat. So last November it was 226.9. This November 227.500. So pretty much flat overall, which is great news because a lot of people expect that to go backwards, which it hasn't, which is great news for any homeowners and their equity. Year-to-date condos in Myrtle Beach sales down 26.3%. Prices though are up 4.6% at 230,000, which is great news. North Myrtle Beach, great month last month. Sales are up 36.1%. Prices last month up 10.5% at 589,000, which is awesome news. Year to date, those sales are down 3.4% overall. Prices almost identically flat. Last year, the same time, is 536. This year, right now, it's 537 overall. Condo sales in North Myrtle Beach down 23%. Prices down 3.2%. Little River area, overall closed sales up 1.6% last month, which is good. Prices, though, down significantly, down 18.6%. So from 398 to 324, there are some nuances there of what property types, because Little River is a little more unique in terms of being spread out. Year to date, though, sales in Little River down 13.7%. Prices are flat, only up 0.5% from 375, 110 to 377. Into Loris and Longs, sales up last month 2.4%, which is great. Prices declined slightly, down 1.3%. In year to date, Loris and Longs sales down 4.9%. Prices up 3.3%. In the Conway area, the 29526, 29527, sales up last month. And again, this includes new construction. So you're seeing a lot of these areas. New construction, we're seeing some areas, they're selling brand new houses for less than resale houses just a mile away. And so that's because they got in with really good margins. We're seeing that. And also there's a big difference in quality based on what type of product it is. But that's something you want to break down case by case. Median price down 7.6% from 309, 129 down at 285. That's something to watch out for because even though sales are up, prices were actually down. And so you want to break that down by neighborhood. Year to date in Conway, down 11.8% for sales. Prices, though, up 2.6%, which is great news. Carolina Forest, this is an interesting one. Sales were down 19.4% in November. So if you look at the sales last November, there's 103. Sales this November, only 83. But prices up slightly, which is great, up 1.5% from 412,000 up to 419. Year to date, though, sales in in Carolina Forest is up 7.2% and prices down 3.9%. The Socastee area, check this out, huge increase. And this has to do with a lot of new construction as well. Sales up in general, up 39.4%. So from 71 homes to 99 homes, just looking at November versus November. Year to date sales up 6.0%, which is awesome. Last month in Socastee, prices were up 14.2% at 314, 785, up to 359, which is awesome news there. And that's a great example. If you notice, the numbers are all over the place, right? Some are seeing 30% drop, some are seeing 30% increase. And that's why it's so important right now to have an expert agent who understands. You can think you're talking about 60% swing overall, 30% decline in Myrtle Beach, a 39% increase in Carolina Forest in terms of sales. And so that's why it's so important to have someone who understands the market, who sells hundreds of homes a year, who has access and pays for the data to help make sure you can make the right decision. We have software we help design. We take your specific neighborhood, it pulls all the data out and it puts it into these spreadsheets for us. And it tells us exactly what the run rate is, how we need to position ourselves price-wise. And it makes it visual so we can show our clients exactly where they need to be. And it helps us make the right decision. And it lets us know the seasonality. It lets us know the times of the year that's best for you to sell. All these things that we use to help make sure we can use that data to win. And what we use is to create small gaps and put more money in our client's pocket. But that's a great example of why you're seeing a 39% increase in sales in overall Socastee. But if you go to Myrtle Beach, you see a 37.8% decrease in sales, all within the same macro market, which is Myrtle Beach, right? And so that's just something to keep watching out for. Make sure you have someone who's an expert. That's why the stuff on Zillow and these online sites, it's just using aggregated data. It's not fully accurate. You always want a detailed human valuation that can look case by case and look at actual stuff. I can't tell you how many times I have people tell us, well, my property is a 4-bedroom. It only has it as a 3-bedroom. A lot of that county data is inaccurate, and that's where they're pulling most of that data from. Overall, Surfside Beach, huge increase, up 65.6% year versus year in terms of sales. Prices, though, down 11.4% from 395 down to 349. Year-to-date sales in Surfside Beach is down 15.8%. Prices down 4.0% at $360,000. Again, this is just a very crazy market, very dynamic market, which is why it's important to make sure you have the right data to make the right decisions. Garden City Myrtle's Inlet sales up last month, 3.9%. Prices up significantly last month, up 20.3% from $399 to $480. Right, lots of extra equity there in that area. It's a hot area of the beach here right now. Year to date, those sales in Garden City Myrtle's Inlet down 22%. Prices up 5.5% at $448,000. In the Pawleys Island Litchfield right now, closed sales last month up 10.5%, which is awesome. Check this out. Median price up 27.5% year versus year. It's a very hot area. We have a lot of high-end clients. We sold a couple down there. November last year, the median price was $600,000. Right now, that same median price is $765,000. So a $165,000 increase in the overall median sales price just for the 29585 zip code. And so that's an example of when I get super aggressive for my client, I push much higher, because you can see by the data in the micro market data that you can be a little more aggressive based on the increase, because there's a much higher demand there overall, which is great news. And even year to date, prices in that area is up 19.4% from 537 to 641 overall. Great news there. That's performing very well. And that's because we've seen a lot of cash deals, a lot of high-end clients come in from up north. We're still seeing that not be as affected as well. And they're trying to scoop up some deals as rates are higher and they're a cash buyer. Georgetown area, 29440 zip code. Closed sales last month up 9.1%. Prices down 11.4% from 290 down to 257. Year to date, those sales down 17.1%. And the median price is up 10.2% at 325. And so just looking at that, that's one of the most dynamic different micro market reports we've ever really gone over in the show. You see all over a 60% swing in terms of some areas being up, some areas being down. So we'd always want to drill down per neighborhood, but that's why you want to make sure you have someone who can help you with that. So if you have any questions, you can always go online to our website. We can easily do an updated human valuation. But if you want an instant online home evaluation, or if you want an instant cash offer, go to blakesloan.com. We have an amazing tool right there. You can do it right from your phone. It'll chat with you. It's an automated chat thing there that will get the information for you. And it creates a cash offer right on your cell phone for you, or to create an instant home evaluation. But what it does is it gives you your own homeowner dashboard. You can check all the time, come back to it, real-time equity. It'll tell you what properties are sold nearby, and it'll keep you updated every month if you like to. Free, no hassle, no charge overall with that. So a quick break, right back here in a second. And we got 2 minutes?
Listeners, Clay Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the
Maybe just run one commercial.
Marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. And here in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty.
Like what, 1 minute?
Need to sell a home and buy a
1.5 maybe.
Let's just do this one commercial, and then I'll
that's all.
okay, cool. All right.
To sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with two mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 five-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing that Sloan Realty Group.
And tune in to Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. About a minute and a half left. Really quick, we have an awesome big hot buyers alert. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers from all across the globe, really, because we outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint, spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars driving traffic online every month. And right now, active home buyers, the username, password, account, that we have 74,502 active home buyers. And that's how we have an advantage. We have buyers in waiting, we call it, that we're able to match your property up to instantly using our software. And so if you're thinking about selling, you don't want the hassle of it sitting in the market, all these people trampling through your home, reach out to me. Let me at least show you what we do. Or if your friend or relative at this holidays coming up, if you have somebody that's thinking about selling, do me a favor. Just say, look, you got to call my buddy Blake. Save me in your cell phone right now, 843-808-SOLD. We've had so many great success stories, but I hear so many horror stories. Do not let your friend or relative be one of those. We have the buyers in waiting. We need inventory. It's a super seller's market. We have 74,502 active buyers from all across the globe right now. But really quick success story. Big shout out to Ray. Ray's a past client. He and his mother sold one of his mother's rental properties with us a few years back. Unfortunately, Ray's mother recently passed away. He did not want to continue using handling his mother's rental business. And basically he had such a great experience with us last time. He reached out to us immediately. We came in, helped him with that scenario. He had 2 rental properties. I helped design a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtuality walkthrough, and drone. Within 1 day, we received both properties, received fantastic as-is offers right at full price. And now Ray's able to sell both properties, put maximum equity in his pocket at the peak of the market, and move on to a fresh start with that. So if you want to be next success story, reach out, call me 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com anytime.